Good day, everybody. Kyle here yet again, coming at you from the beautiful mountains of Honduras. And this time I want to talk about information itself. Anymore nowadays, we have this torrent of information we receive through internet and social media and all these things. And there seems to be some restriction on these things, right, with social media and censorship and blocking or deleting certain channels that speak certain keywords that is frowned upon by some group that's deemed themselves worthy as gatekeepers of this information. Funny enough, I'm going to be using one of these platforms to post this video, but it is what it is. What we need to realize is the effect that information has on our perception of reality. For the longest time, you know, when there's a news article, there's a lot of doctors say, experts say, scientists say, new research suggests. These key terms, key phrases that in our psyche makes us be more receptive to it. Because like, oh, these are authorities, right? A think tank, a scientist, a doctor, researchers. These are authorities we give some kind of value to. And just by using these key words, we tend to be more receptive to this information and believing of it, not researching for ourselves deeper into its validity, right? And now, again, with social media censorship, anyone that questions this knowledge is grounded and punished. And being that it is so much, and there's all these different theories and possibilities of truth, the only real gauge is you yourself, right? When you read this information, how do you feel? How does it affect you? Bring awareness to your own sensations, to your own gut feeling, right? Trust your gut. When you read a story or you watch something on the news, the media, how does it make you feel? Of course, with media, it tends to make you feel some kind of fear. At least that's their goal, it seems, right? It's always bad stories. It's always, here's this thing and here's the devastation it's causing and this and that and all these other things that contorts the world into some kind of a negative view. And it's a very effective way of brainwashing, right? You can look up Project Paperclip or Project Mockingbird. Both of them probably have something to do with the manipulation of information to cause an effect in the psyche of the people. I first became aware of this stuff in my time in the military. I was in the U.S. Marine Corps, and when I went to Iraq the first time, and we were told certain things, and then upon my actual experience of it, raising questions like, okay, what's going on? Is this real? These people don't seem so bad, as which we were taught in training, right? We demonize or dehumanize our enemy to make more effective soldiers. Once again, it's a psychology of manipulating information to create a certain effect within the psyche of the people that you're giving that information to. There's a video about it up here. You can click here, watch about, I did one for Veterans Day about why veteran suicide is such a prevalent thing, or at least my take on it. So I won't get into too much of that, but that was my beginning of questioning. But the basic thing being, so with this information, you have mainstream, and then you have alternative news that bring their own stories and facts, usually in opposition to what we're told by the mainstream. And even that, the alternative news has all these different theories and possibilities of different things, and they all have their stuff. And being that there is so much information, how do you trust what you receive? How do you know what's real and what's not? The only true gauge for truth is yourself and your sensations. And when you receive information, how does it make you feel? Does it energize you? Does it bring you down? Do you feel this doubt within you? Trust your gut. If you feel something's off, take that into account and maybe just take the information you're receiving as a grain of salt. And that's the same with my stuff too, and some of the odd videos that I come up with. It's all just information, and from us receiving information, we tend to synthesize it to our own belief system and structure of what reality is and what's going on in the world. And so for you, the question becomes, what information are you consuming, right? Eating. You feed your mind with this information, and this information dictates what you perceive in reality. Are you translating this information to be the most beneficial for yourself and your way of life? Where attention goes, energy flows. What you focus on grows. So the question again, what information are you consuming? Do you deem it factual? Is it uplifting for you? Is it making your life better in any way? If not, well, how do we change it? Because yes, there's stuff going on, sure. But how are you using this information? Are you using it to isolate yourself? Using it to justify this end of world thing of like, oh, it's the end of the world, my goodness, sorrow and dreary and all these negative emotions? Or are you focusing on other information and how this could potentially benefit us, you, yourself? And so I guess the question you're probably asking me was, how does all this world information benefit me? Well, for me, I've been in cryptocurrencies for some years now, and seeing how this pandemic has affected the economic system, the world economic structure, and realizing of how this technology can replace that old structure and actually be more beneficial for all people involved, for the world at large, and make things more efficient, yada yada. And so there's like, oh, there's this safeguard, there's this life raft to help us through the economic collapse that's possible, if not inevitable. And the lockdowns as a means for, like, how many people started businesses in the lockdown? How many people started taking classes because they were out of work, they didn't have anything else to do, they couldn't leave, and so they took classes or did something productive to enhance and better their own lives. That was a point of benefit. Choices. We all have choices. We all do what we want. Some people didn't do that, and some people did what they did, entertain themselves. That's cool too. It's also exposing some of the shenanigans within our government systems, our leadership, bringing the question of are they really serving our benefit, or are they serving alternative agendas and corporations and banks and all these other things that have benefited greatly from this pandemic? You know, questions. So I guess point being, learn to feel yourself. Learn to trust your own intuition, your sense of truth. As you receive information, also be open to receiving alternative information. Open up to the possibility that you might not know it all, and the sources you rely on may not be in your best benefit. Right? There was a time that doctors promoted cigarette smoking. Now look what happens. Right? Look what the truth is of cigarette smoking. And there was a time that we prescribed heroin. There was a time that cocaine was used in sodas, like Coca-Cola. There was a time that asbestos was a beneficial thing for the world. And now look, right? Information changes, truth changes, or not truth, but the truth we're told changes depending on what those espousers of truth want from the people that are receptive to that information. Hopefully this is making some sense. So yeah, trust your gut. Be open to alternatives now more than ever, because there is so much manipulation going on partial truths and doubts on what's real and what's not. Because there will become a time here soon enough where the reality of the fallacy of our world becomes apparent. And what you once trusted is no longer trustworthy. That may be now, but more and more as time goes on, more people are doubting their perception of society, perception of what's real, perception of authority, and are they beneficial for us, the people, or not? And as you grow to this awareness, instead of being like, oh, woe is me, what will I do? Use this as an opportunity to grow. What new information have you not been open to over these years because you were so reliant upon this old structure? Now that you're seeing that the old structure is not beneficial, behooves of one to start broadening their mindset, broadening the perspectives of possibility. What is this world? What is life? What is the meaning of life? What are we doing with ourselves? What are we doing as a collective, as a species? How can we use all of this to make a better world and going on into the future? Right? Now's a chance. Now's a choice. One system is falling away, and there is a new system being built, a new way of being, a new knowledge and understanding of self, of psychology, of programming, of our own internal programming based off of what we've been taught. We tend to react and believe in a certain way, beliefs creating our reality and how we go about things, right? If you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to do something. You switch that belief, start believing in yourself, you're more apt to do that thing. This is a simple example of how beliefs dictate how we interact with our life. And being that the old understanding is going away, now's the time to open up, discover something new, look into new forms of information, look at new possibilities of what life can be, not just in the world, but for yourself. And with that, hopefully that was something. It was something. Of course it's something. But hopefully that was something beneficial, instructive, adding some insight. And yeah, thank you so much for whoever listens. And until next time.